Hello, I'm here today with Daphne V. Smith, author of What's Your Scarlet Letter? Recognize Your Hurts, Release Your Shame, Reclaim Your Voice. Welcome, Daphne.
Hi, Faye. It is great to be here with you.
I'm so glad. You're one interview that I just can't wait to hear and for the listeners to hear what all you have to say. But first of all, let's talk about your life as an author. Does writing energize you or exhaust you?
Yes. Uh, it's really a little bit of both. The creation process, the ideas formulating, that's exciting. Getting it out of here and onto here, like a keyboard or a piece of paper, that can be a little bit exhausting. I know you're familiar with this phrase as well. Writers don't like to write, they like to have written.
Yes.
And so authors are the same way. The process, the finished product, yeah. So for me, it's really a little bit of both. Kind of maybe depends upon what stage I am in the process.
Gotcha. So tell me, what was an early experience that you had where you learned that language has power?
So that dates back to a famous story that my grandmother used to talk about me. I was what she referred to as a midlife crisis baby. So I was born when she was in her early 40s, and she thought of me essentially as her fourth child. So I got to spend a lot of time with her. And one day she took me to a ladies' tea. And this is a long time ago, but we're not going to talk about my age. And the hostess was passing around a box of chocolates. And she came to me and asked if I wanted one. And my grandmother looked down and said, "Now, Daphne, remember what I taught you." And I looked up at her and I said, "Take the biggest piece." She was mortified, and that was not what she taught me. It's to take the paper when you take the chocolate, right? I have no idea where that came from, but I learned right then and there that words have power.
I love it. Oh, goodness. I could just see that happening. Okay. Okay, how to recover from that? Is there an author, a particular author that you admire?
There are so many. And one of my favorite authors in the very, very beginning was Laura Ingalls Wilder. I think she's the one who hooked me on reading. And from that point on, I branched out as I matured. For today, one of my favorite authors is Joyce Meyer. And that's because we have so many similarities in our personality. And just the truth is our backstories as well. So for me, she's very relatable, and I appreciate her straightforward, really grounded truth. So I'd probably go with her.
Cool. I could see that. Okay. What kind of research do you do when you're planning a book, and how much time do you spend before you begin that book?
Yeah, so for me, because I always want to include facts, I'm a nonfiction writer. I honestly love and appreciate you fiction writers, but I don't understand. There's just coming up with that much detail for an entire book. So for me, nonfiction. And I will get the idea first, then go and do some research as I'm planning out my blog, my book, my contribution, whatever I'm writing. And sometimes I may use research as a little bit of an excuse, but most often, creative avoidance, most often I will spend probably a third of my time overall in research, because it's very important to me with the topics I deal with that I'm accurate and I'm not just making stuff up.
Right. Okay. So when you wrote What's Your Scarlet Letter, What did you edit out of it? What didn't make the cut?
So honestly, a bunch made it. There's not much that I edited out. When I had what I thought was my final draft, but it's your first final draft.
Right.
I had my husband read it, and he actually made the comment, "Wow, you went pretty easy on me." And I looked at him and I said, "So is that permission to be more transparent?" And he said, "If you have to throw me under the bus in order to help someone else, go for it."
Oh, wow. I love that
So I
man.
added, he's a good man in period, and recovery is a good part of our lives.
Yes. Yes. So, Daphne,
Yeah.
what does literary success look for in your life? Or look like?
For me, literary success, honestly, are those reviews, those emails, those comments of a fly on my wall with, "You get me, you understand." That kind of affirmation, if you will, that's literary success, because I write for the reader. Trophies, prizes, things like that, they're going to tarnish and fade. I want to leave a legacy of healing and hope and encouragement. So that's what means the most to me.
Awesome. All right, let's switch and talk more about your book in particular. Tell me the backstory.
So, What's Your Scarlet Letter came from really an inspiration of another book I read called What's Your Secret Name by Harry Overbrunner.
Right.
And it was his story. Once I got into recovery and I experienced healing for all the damage and hurt that had been in my life, I truly held, knowing that my faith was the only reason I got through it all, and wanting to encourage other women, because, in the church world, we don't talk about things like this. And so I wanted to say, you know what? I do. Joyce does. You can too.
Right.
And when you do, it will make a difference in your life.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I talked with another author earlier that was saying the same thing, that we just don't talk about that earlier. Not in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sad, because we're the ones that are supposed to be addressing those things.
Absolutely.
We have the answer.
We do. And I know that I know without my faith, I wouldn't be who I am today. And I honestly can't imagine what my life would be like if I had held on to all of the shame that I encountered in my life. I truly, I can't venture a guess of what I would be like. So I give Thanksgiving for that.
Yes. Okay. In your book, you share some really deep hurts very transparently. How could you do that?
I did it because I felt compelled to. I couldn't not do it. One of the things a friend said to me recently, she called me, and doesn't just have to do with my hair. I am, and salt makes you wince when you have too much of it, but it adds a lot of flavor, right? It spices things up, if you will. And I didn't do any of this book to be salacious in any way, size, shape, or form. It was to say, look, here's the real truth. And if I can admit it as well, I felt for a long time that, to a degree, I needed to help others have permission. Not that I was giving them permission, but more of a lead by example. And again, well, if she can do it, then I guess it's okay for me to do it as well.
Right. Right. So as you were writing What's Your Scarlet Letter, who did you have in mind? Who were you seeing that you were telling this story to?
I wrote this for that woman who honestly compared her story to other women's and didn't feel like hers was enough. One of the things I talk about in the book and with other interviews that I've been on is that one time is one time too many.
Yeah.
You don't have to wind up in the emergency room. You don't have to wind up in court or having called the police. Being is one time too many. Being violated in any way, emotionally, verbally, sexually, that's one time too many. There are women walking around on this planet who have no idea what that's like.
Right.
So that means it's not okay for it to have happened even one time.
Right.
And so I wrote this book to help give that woman a new perception and a new perspective to say, you matter so much that one time too many.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so you've already told us you felt compelled to write this book, and you said that you couldn't not write it. Did you have this sense that there would be a I don't know, just some kind of almost a punishment or a falling back that would, if you didn't write it?
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't think that I in any way would be punished or miss out on anything if I didn't write it. I truly cared so much for the person who feels stuck and trapped. And I can remember one day, I truly right now, I can picture myself where I was on the road. I was getting ready to hop onto what we call the bypass where I live. We don't call them highways here. And I was whining essentially, okay, crying out to God, but I was whining. I don't want to write this book because I just was frustrated and I was just done. And I heard that still small voice very lovingly say, it's not your book. It's my book through you.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I need to get over myself.
Yeah.
Now, once I hit edit and send, whatever, and publish, that actually brought a whole different level and layer because I was like, I'm kind of walking around naked and so's my husband. And I realized, you know what? One of my life verses is Galatians 1:10. And quite honestly, I don't care what other people think. That's the DSV, right? I'm here to please one, the one who created me, and everybody else, it's none of my business what they think. And if I don't make them happy, well, maybe I need to do them.
Yeah, I love that. I love that verse. My people ask your life verse, and mine generally comes. It's either Galatians 1:10 or Psalms 40 verses 1 through 3.
Ooh, I'm going to look that up. My alternating one is 2 Corinthians 5:17.
Oh yeah,
Being a new creation,
transformed, whole new creation.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason I wrote the book too.
Yeah. All right. So, what is your hope, your deepest hope, that your book will achieve in the lives of your readers?
So it's interesting because I actually had a review that was not exactly glowing about the book. And I read it and I took it to heart. And I explained, because it was on one of the formats where you can, reply.
Right.
I explained that this book is not a be and all. For many women, this is the first step of their healing journey. For others, it's the next step in their healing journey. So whether it's a first step or a next step, I guess you could say that's what my hope and my goal is for the reader of this book. Yes, there's information in there that a parent, an aunt, an uncle, an educator could use to help protect people, because I go a lot into grooming. Beyond that, though, for the reader who has been hurt and who has been carrying that shame and didn't realize they had a voice to speak up and make a change, let it be a step in their journey. That's my hope.
Wow. Wow. Well, let me just tell you, Miss Daphne V. Smith, I appreciate you. I thank you for coming and allowing me to be able to interview you and to share you with the people that I know.
Well, Faye, thank you so much. And I'm so proud of you on so many levels. And I appreciate this opportunity to share and to hang out with you more than once a
Awesome.
year.
Really, really. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.